everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Pengy, and today we're going to talk about some Scarlet and Violet. It's the first time I've talked about Scarlet and Violet on this channel, and everybody's been doing their videos, you know, these are the Pokemon that I want, these are the ones that I think need buffs, this is a mechanic that I hope they add. You know, all their wish list videos are out in the ether, and I thought, I want to be different. I want to go against the grain, so I'm going to make a video about 5 Pokemon that I don't want to see in Scarlet and Violet. So, personal opinion, obviously, and this is, you know, looked at through the lens of competitive VGC for the most part. You know, that's generally how I think about the game. So, we're not going to be thinking about legendaries either. You know, things like Landorus, things like Regieleki. Those are usually not in the game anyway at release. They're not in the regional decks. They're not going to be in the format that we're playing next year. We're not going to think about Regieleki. We're not going to think about Landorus. We're not going to think about any of those legendary Pokemon. It's more just stock, standard, normal old Pokemon. And of course, there is a list on Cerebi, which I'll include down below in the description, of all of the Pokemon that have been officially announced. I don't want any spoilers from leaks or whatever in the comments. You know, there's a lot of people who don't like the leaks. And personally, I don't really care that much, but I don't want other people to feel like they can't look at my comment section. So, no leaks. Don't do the leaks. Don't be that person. So, anyway, I will not mention anything that's on the officially confirmed list. I believe that's from things like the trailers and from, you know, things from, like, images on the Pokemon website. So, you know, things that are on that list are not going to be here because, for example, we know that Tyranitar is in the game, even though I'm going to be very scared of its ability to Terra-type into Ghost. Unfortunately for me, that's already in the game, so we're not going to even think about Tyranitar. Anything on that list is not part of this video. So, without further ado, let's get started. First things first, Rillaboom. We're just going to go right into it with Rillaboom. Now, you might be thinking, hey, you know, previous generation starters are not going to be in the regional decks immediately, and you're probably right. But in Sword and Shield, the Gen 1 starters and the Gen 7 starters were added into the game with Pokemon Home compatibility and made legal by March. So that's still, like, early enough that I'm going to count it. Rillaboom is the first one that I don't want to see. And really, it's not that I don't want to see Rillaboom, it's that I don't want to see Rillaboom in its current form. Grassy Surge and Grassy Glide is way too oppressive in a non-Dynamax format. Currently in the Spikemuth Cup format that we're playing, which has all of the legendaries. I believe Rillaboom is the number 2 in usage after Incineroar. It's so everywhere. It's just so good. If it doesn't have its hidden ability, or maybe it just doesn't have the move tutor moves like Grassy Glide, if it doesn't have Grassy Glide, all of a sudden this is a different story. I specifically don't want to see Rillaboom with Grassy Surge and Grassy Glide in the format. I think it's going to be way too oppressive. You think about the lower power level of a regional dex, it's gonna be destructive. Now, the other side of things is that Rillaboom probably would not benefit very hard from Terra Stall. You know, it's gonna want that stab Grassy Glide if it's an option. So maybe Terra Stall does hurt the Rillaboom enough that it doesn't really need to be, you know, super patched in this upcoming generation. But just tentatively, on the bottom of my list of 5 Pokemon I don't want to see, I don't really want to have to deal with Rillaboom all that much. Next up, we're just going to keep it rolling with grass starters. I don't want Venusaur in the game. I just don't want Venusaur in the game. There's a lot of people who like Venusaur a lot. It's very good, and I don't like it. If you look at the highest level of Venusaur players, a lot of Venusaur play is centered around clicking Sleep Powder as little as possible because it's just not a very reliable move. But the thing that I don't like about Venusaur is that a lot of people who are not players at the highest level will use Venusaur, spam Sleep Powder every time they get an opportunity, and it'll hit a lot of the time, and they'll do well off the back of Venusaur clicking a 75% accurate move. I think it's pretty bad to reward people for gambling on 75% accurate moves. Venusaur outspeeding basically everything in Chlorophyll and then having the ability to neuter a Pokemon for 3 turns, if you're lucky. I don't know. It's too gambly for me. Not a fan. I don't like it. I hope it's not in the game. So next up, unfortunately, the Pokemon that I really don't want to see has already been confirmed. That's going to be Chansey. Now, it's not the number 1 Pokemon. The number 1 Pokemon on every VGC person's mind that they don't want to see is Smeargle. But that's too obvious, so it's not going to make my list. Chansey's already been confirmed. But if you pair it with Eviolite and then also give it Soft Boiled and Minimize, it doesn't die. Unfortunately, we also don't have Dynamax moves to bypass evasion, so it's gonna be annoying. I can't put Chansey on the list because it's been confirmed. But you know what I can put on the list? Shuckle. Shuckle's on the list. Now, a lot of people like Shuckle. I think Shuckle's a cute little boy. He's a cute little bug boy who lives in a rock, and I hate him. I hate him so much. He makes Chansey so much worse because he uses the move Guard Split, which averages the defenses, so Chansey's base 5 defense gets averaged with Shuckle's base 763,212 defense. Suddenly, Chansey has an Eviolite and an incredibly high base defense, and also base special defense, and then you really can't kill it. I don't want to deal with it. I really, really don't want to deal with it. Please, dear God, please, no Shuckle. Please, just don't. No Shuckle. Masuda, please. So that's 3 down. 2 more to go. Next up, we have Bruxish. I don't have anything particularly insightful to say about Bruxish. I just don't want to look at it. I see it on my screen. I opened it because I thought I should say something a little bit more, in-depth. But I just really don't want to look at that thing. It's so cursed. And, from a competitive aspect, I don't think I'd be able to focus if I had to look that thing in the eyes. No Bruxish. Put it away. Leave it in Alola, where it belongs. I hope we never see it again. No Bruxish. I have a couple of honorable mentions. Smeargle kind of already got one, but, some other ones that I feel like I really don't want to see, but I'm not going to go too in-depth on them. Shedinja's one that just doesn't make the list because I feel like the game devs are smart enough to not put Shedinja in a game with Terastallizing. But it's there just so I'm on record saying I don't want to see Shedinja. Araquanid is one that kind of scares me a little bit. Water Bubble plus Terra-type Water just feels like it would do tons of damage. And then Ferrothorn is one that scares me a lot as well. I feel like you can give it a really good defensive type like Water, and then it still has Leech Seed. It's going to be really, really hard to break. I feel like Ferrothorn could make Stall just a little bit too strong in a Terra Stall format. So those are my 3 honorable mentions. Shedinja, Araquanid, Ferrothorn. Don't want to see those, but they're not quite at the same level as the ones that are actually on this list. And speaking of the list, we have one more to complete the list. At the very top of the 5 mons that I don't want to see in Scarlet and Violet is Galarian Darmanitan. For those of you who are not aware, Galarian Darmanitan gets the ability Gorilla Tactics. It's a unique ability that's not shared with any other Pokemon, which basically gives Darmanitan a choice band without taking up its item slot. It's an insane modifier. It makes this thing crazy. You can Scarf it and then also have Gorilla Tactics, and you basically have a Choice Scarfed, already fast Pokemon with a choice band. It's insane. And one of the reasons why Darmanitan hasn't really seen a lot of play in the no Dynamax formats that we've had is because Regieleki was introduced beforehand. But we're now in a format where we're not going to have Regieleki, and also they're not going to have Dynamax. So it's going to be a really, really difficult format to deal with Scarf Gorilla Tactics Darmanitan. Even Banded Darmanitan with like Tailwind or something. You get Banded Gorilla Tactics Darmanitan. That's an insane modifier as well. It's just going to have so much ability to destroy stuff, and it already gets a lot of coverage options. It gets access to Flare Blitz, Rock Slide, Earthquake, Superpower, all of these different types. It gets like 7 or 8 different types of like viable coverage. But what really scares me is giving it Terra types. If this thing can have access to any stab move, like any stab type, but maintain the Gorilla Tactics ability, it's going to be really, really scary. I don't really know if it's going to be healthy for the metagame. I think the metagame is going to be super centralized around it. There have been some rumors about some changes to the mechanics, which might also make it way, way better. Even if all of the mechanics remain the same, it still just really scares me knowing that in a best of one format, especially if we're playing in an IC or something, oh, there's a Galarian Darmanitan on the other side, and I have absolutely no idea what its Terra type is. What am I going to do? I don't really know how you play around that, and I don't think I really want to know. I feel like I would rather just live in a happy little bubble where Galarian Darmanitan is not part of this regional format. So those are the Pokemon that I really don't want to see in Scarlet and Violet. At the end of the day, we don't really know what the game's going to look like. We don't know what the meta's going to look like. We don't even know how all of the mechanics are going to function yet. So it's very possible that all these Pokemon make it in and are totally fine and healthy for the game. In the meantime, I am very, very scared of those 5. I'm never not going to be scared of Bruxish. I'm not going to lie. I never not going to be scared of that thing. Just looking at it, it feasts on my soul, and I don't like it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I haven't really done very much Scarlet Violet stuff thus far here or on stream, so if you enjoy the Scarlet and Violet pre-release kind of hype video, let me know in the comments below. Of course, let me know which Pokemon you don't want to see in Scarlet and Violet as well. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe, ring the bell for more, and I can't wait to get started on actual Scarlet and Violet content in November. We'll be, of course, doing more VGC stuff up until then on Sword and Shield as well. So make sure you don't miss any of that fun stuff either, and I will see you guys next time.